What's up guys, it's Zodic and today we're going to be going over why you should be insane and why being insane is actually a good thing. Now, most people don't actually realize that being insane is a good thing because when you're insane, you fight nightmare creatures and nightmare creatures drop one thing. And that one thing is nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel is a very important resource in the game that not a lot of players aren't really using to their fullest potential. So if we go in the magic tab, there's a lot of stuff you could craft here, and most players, me myself included, sometimes I don't even make use of the magic tab, but it is very powerful, and some of the best items in the game can be found from this magic tab. And in the magic tab, everything you make comes from Nightmare Fuel. Um, the first item we're going to be going over is the Dark Sword. The Dark Sword is one of the best melee weapons that you can get really early on too, with only being um, Living Log and Nightmare Fuel does incredible damage. 68 damage with 100 uses, um, and it also comes with one of the best armor pieces in the game, Nightmare Armor, which damage has a 95% damage reduction, and um, these two combined um, can basically have you kill anything in the world if you can. And the one downside of equipping them is that you lose sanity faster, but that just makes them renewable sources, so you could just always recraft them. The crafting recipe for the nightmare armor is papyrus and some nightmare fuel. And for papyrus and nightmare fuel, that's it. It's a very good armor source, 95% damage reduction. And the only downside is you lose sanity. And in order to get nightmare fuel, you need to lose sanity. So it's almost like there is no downside. The next set of items we're going to be going over is the ice staff, fire staff, telelocator's staff. So first off, we're going to start with the telelocator staff. The telelocator staff teleports you to a random spot in the map, wherever you are, and it has 5 uses. This could be useful if you're really low on health and you're being chased by a boss, or you're just being chased by hounds. Um, it could be useful there, and overall pretty good. Costs purple gem and some living logs and nightmare fuel. So overall, telelocator staff really good in certain situations. Um, and moving on to the next staff, the ice staff. Ice staff is really good. It can freeze bosses and most all mobs with a couple swings. It does do 0 damage, but when you freeze something and it gets thawed out, it won't be aggroed onto you. So you could use that if you're getting chased once again by hounds or a boss that you're really low on. And then the last staff we're going to talk about is the fire staff. Um, the fire staff, when you attack things, sets it on fire and has 20 uses. This could be really good if you're running away from mobs and you're just trying to kill them. You use the fire staff and keep on running really quickly. You don't have to get up close like most melee weapons. Um, And yeah, so overall the staffs are really powerful and all under the magic section. Okay guys, now we're going to be talking about amulets. There's 3 type of amulets that we're going to be talking about. And first off, to start with the life-giving amulet. Life-giving amulet, um, if you're equipping it, it passively regens you health. But what most people do, they'll drop it on their base, and if you're a ghost, you can haunt this almost like a touchstone, but you don't like lose permanent health. You just um, respawn with normal health. And if you haunt this, it's a really good use. And then yeah, I'd suggest having at least um, one in your base. At least, if you want to be really careful, 5 would be a good number that I'd stop at. So much I usually have in my bases. And yeah, it's really safe, really good. Reviving item. Next up, and the amulets, the chilled amulet. This amulet is really good coming during summer. kills you off really fast, and you could also you could still be on the move while cooling down, which is a big plus side, especially during summer, where most of the time I feel like a sitting duck when I have my endothermic fire pit just waiting with my thermal stone. The Chill Amulet helps with this a lot, as you can still be mobile. The Nightmare Amulet is um one of the more situational amulets. It's really good against the Fuel Weaver boss fight. That's when you're mainly gonna need it. Other than that, I wouldn't really worry about it. Um, it basically it's like a Bee Queen hat. Um, switches sanity aura, so when you're insane, you'll be sane. When you're sane, you'll be insane. Really good for certain situations, for like the Fuel Weaver fight. So you don't really need to craft it that early. The next thing we have is the Belt of Hunger and the Bat Bat. First off, the Belt of Hunger is the best, um, um, is the best chess piece slot for Wolfgang, as Wolfgang can survive off one meatball every 3 days while wearing the Belt of Hunger. The Belt of Hunger basically just slows down the rate at which you lose hunger, so really good for Wolfgang. And Wolfgang's main downside is that he loses hunger faster, which is completely negated with this item, the Belt of Hunger. And Wolfgang's other downside is he goes insane faster, which is also not really a downside. It's more of an upside, since it's easier to be insane and get Nightmare Fuel. So you can get that Belt of Hunger even faster. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the Bat Bat. The Bat Bat is a life-stealing um, sword that does 42 damage and has 75 uses. For 42 damage and being a lifesteal item, that is not bad at all, and very good for um, for just healing. Whenever you're healing during a boss fight and you need some health, say you're half health during a boss fight, just whip out the Bat Bat, start life stealing. 42 damage is still more than a regular spear, and about 10 less than a Hambat, so it's not bad. But just remember, it only has 75 uses. And yeah, that's the Bat Bat. Okay, the next items we're going to be talking about is the one-man band. The one-man band is a great way of recruiting pigs to be your friends at the cost of sanity, and which is actually one of its upsides, since it's going to be very renewable. And the craft for this is only 2 gold, 2 pigskin, and 4 nightmare fuel. So for that, really good start pig. You could get pig friends, cut down trees for the cost of nightmare fuel and gold with pigskin. The next item we have is pan flute. Pan flute is one of the best um, items in the game. It puts everything on your screen to sleep temporarily, and it has 10 uses. This is incredibly overpowered item. It could be used any situation. You're in trouble, just put the boss to sleep. You're being chased by hounds, just put the hounds to sleep. It's a very good item, and this is a must-have. It only costs 1 mandrake too. And the final two things we'll be talking about is the meat effigy and the night light. The night light is a night that is a light that is fueled by nightmare fuel. Really good source of light, especially for ruins bases. Um, really good, and it runs on nightmare fuel. So again, renewable source of fire. Instead of using wood all the time, you could just use nightmare fuel. Um, and it does have a slight sanity draining aura when you get next to it, but that just makes it easier to gain more nightmare fuel, which makes it easier to power. And the last um, thing we have on the list is the meat effigy. The meat effigy is another revive um, source, a way to get revived. The cost is nightmare fuel and some beard hair, which might be a bit um, strange to get. You're gonna need to either kill rabbits when you're low on sanity, or if you're playing Wilson. If you're playing Wilson, you can just shave your and get it that way, and also cost 40 health. But when you die, you will be able to just respawn there, and have another way. So if you do unlock the magic tab, it will be significantly harder to die, since there's two main ways you could revive yourself, the meat effigy and the life-giving amulet. And due to all these reasons, that is why I believe um, being insane is actually not bad and actually a noob trap, because being insane actually unlocks some of the best items in game and the most powerful tools that you could use. um, and yeah, the rest of the objects here, for example the locator focus and the lazy deserter, will be covered in a different video. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for why I think you guys should be using the magic tab more, and why insanity is actually a good thing, and why you should be insane instead of sane. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And please leave a like and subscribe